and left it on.
Call a meeting of the County Commission. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will open up with public comment. Any public comment? Tim?
Tim Ravendall speaking for Tim Ravendall. I submitted a couple of weeks ago, I know we're all busy, a letter of application to serve on the planning board through email. And I know we've been all busy and trying to keep things moving forward. I guess I haven't heard, so I would like to maybe request that we could have that put on the agenda for possibly next week and have a discussion on that, to see where we can end up going.
Okay,
And again, that's my 2 cents there, sir. Thank you.
thanks, Tim. Shirley?
Shirley Wilson, could we please have the chain removed on the front walk?
Yes, I thought we were gonna have them removed today.
It's still there.
Okay.
Okay. And also, I've been asked by an independent businessman in town who sent the county a bill on March 6th about repair on a county vehicle. It has not been paid. He wants to know where in the mail it is, and he would really like to be paid. It's over 30 days. He'd really like to be paid.
Do you know what department it is?
Chuck picked it up, I'm assuming road department,
Okay.
but I don't know. But he'd really like to be paid. He wondered where this 30-day thing went. And do we have any answers on the brochure that was mailed? Did I ask questions about last
Yes,
week?
so Nicole is getting that information together. As soon as I have it, I'll give it to you.
Okay,
But yeah, it has been submitted.
okay,
She's gone to a conference right this week, or for part of this week.
okay.
But
All
yeah,
right.
as soon as I get it, you'll have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now
I
we
got one more
Yes.
point, and this is again personal from myself. When I was coming into town this morning, I was behind the Winston truck that hauls the waste to the transfer station. And when they turned at Indian Creek Road off of the highway, there was no lights on the back of that truck. You might want to pass that on
Oh, okay.
to the solid waste department people.
No brake lights?
There was one brake light come on for a second, and then it went back out, but there was no turn signals at all.
Okay.
So just for safety, for reasons, for pass that on. Thank you.
Yep.
So we got minutes here from March 27th, April 8th.
I will move to approve those minutes as submitted. Is there a third one too?
No, one of them,
Okay.
two of them are for April 8th.
Oh, did I print out? Okay, we'll get 4-9 tomorrow then.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes for April 8th.
Motion been made and seconded to approve minutes for March 27th, April 8th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, so let's see, Commissioners update, I attended the department headed meeting, the meeting with Bill Jiraki, and also did another tour with some department heads of the Opportunity Bank. That's about it. Yes, Tim?
Real quick question, Mr. Chairman. The meeting that was with Mr. Jiraki, I think that was last Thursday.
Yes,
Okay. Do you have any report on where, anything new?
I think we have that on here for
It's for later.
11:45.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Okay.
I apologize.
I also attended the department head meeting, and I'm really excited. I've gotten some really good feedback from our department heads, so. Also, meeting with Bill Jiraki went very well. I think we're headed in the right direction with that. Worked on some legislation last minute. Looks like we made a good impact with entitlement share. 773 was voted down on third reading. That is the bill where the state was trying to raid the county's what's called entitlement share, and the reason it's called that is a horrible name, but it is actually money counties are entitled for money collected by counties for services that counties provide. That all goes to the state through an agreement from 2001, something called the Big Bill. State shaves off a portion of that for state services and then sends the rest back to counties. Well, they decided through some pretty shady backroom deals that they wanted to start cutting into that as a punishment to law enforcement and prosecutors for taking care of crime at the local level because it was causing extra work for the Office of the Public Defender. So we compromised with legislators, MACO being we, and a bunch of MSPOA, County Attorneys Association, League of Cities and Towns all came together as a cohesive team and got that turned into a study bill. And then they tried to do some shenanigans with the study bill. So looks like 773 is dead and gone.
Thank goodness.
So, yeah, that was big news for last week.
All right, so last week started with Corey and I meeting with Dr. Campbell, and I think that we've come up with a pretty good compromise to provide a lease for him till 2020. We'll talk about that more. Had a rec board meeting. We had our first safety committee meeting, which is good. I'm excited that we finally have a safety program started in our county. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it's the thing to do. Also, just for everybody's information, that we have set up a meeting with Tentina Mine folks in White Sulphur on the 26th, I believe it is,
23rd.
or 23rd, I'm sorry. And we'll also meet with Mark County Commissioners, just so that we all can kind of talk about what the impacts we think that will be on our community if that mine does get approved. So, just so you're aware of that.
Where's that at?
It is we're gonna start at 10 o'clock in the morning at the mine office in White Sulphur, and then tour their facility, talk with their folks, and then meet with Mark County Commissioners later that afternoon. And then we gotta hustle back for some city meetings, so. Wynn and I and Brandon attended the Three Forks Ambulance and Fire Department meeting on Friday, and it was a good meeting. We're making some progress in the south end of the county as far as for having a deputy there, but we have a long ways to go. There's a lot of things that still need to happen down there, and we'll talk about the interlocal agreement that we're going to sign with them as well.
It's not on the agenda. Daryl,
Yes.
the interlocal's not on the agenda.
Yes.
It's on at 11:45 under
11:45.
adjusted journal entries.
Ah. Okay. Because we actually, I think the meeting for that with 3-4 City Council is the 23rd at 7,
Right.
so just wanted, I don't want to miss it, so.
Yep.
And if you want, I can kind of give an update real quick in regards to that, if you want me to. Or do you want me to wait?
Let's see, what is it here? Well, you want to hang out till 11:45?
I can,
Okay.
that's not a problem. Yeah.
You can give us that update right now, because
Yeah.
Corey's not gonna be here for
Yep.
the 10:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in meeting with Three Forks, We met with Three Forks City Council and the fire and EMS folks quite a bit in the last few months, which is a conversation that was kind of started by Jody Moore, for obvious reasons. Last Monday, I finally were able to make it, well, I made a decision Friday, but Lauren, it's gonna take me a while.
Costello or something, I
Yeah.
can't remember either.
He was currently a Belgrade police officer. I hired him, he's gonna be the Three Forks deputy, actually stationed in Three Forks, which is why he'll be a local. And then, so his travel area or patrol area is basically gonna be from Austin south, with the main focal point of the I-90-287 junction area. And so that's kind of where that's going. Obviously, Jody would like to see about 4 times that, but it's a start in the right direction. We're gonna try to make it parallel, or he'll parallel the shifts with the Gallatin County guys, so if there's something major down there, they can jump across it or what have you. We have this mutual aid agreements in that interlocal, which will cover all that. So I think we're going in the right direction there, so. Did I miss anything there?
Sounds good.
Thanks, Quinn.
I think it's important to note too that all 3 of us were at the safety meeting. I forgot about that for
Yeah.
the restart or the reignition. Pretty excited about how excited Mike is for that. I think it'll serve the county very well.
Okay, so I guess the next agenda item is, the finalize the triple wide lease agreement with Doc Campbell. Do you have that lease with you, Darren?
I do, it's right here, or no, here, it's right here, I'm sorry. So here is that
Has
lease.
everybody read through that then?
I just got it this morning. I think
Okay.
it just came in our email this
Yeah.
morning. So I would like a few minutes to read through it and have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Do you already
Yeah.
too?
Okay.
Yeah, you bet. You want me to kind of basically go
Yeah.
over some of the things that we discussed?
Yes.
And do that, okay. So, what we have discussed is we will provide Dr. Campbell with a lease until December 30th of 2020. The first year, or the remaining months of this year, 2019, he will be paying $1,000 a month for his lease. And the idea being there is that he will use that money to help with some of the small things that need to be taken care of in the office right now. The normal, everyday things that would need to be repaired. Basically for basic use of what he would be doing there. It will then increase to $1,200 a month for the calendar year of 2020. Also, at the end of, or December 30th of 2020, we will have the option to either renew a lease or cancel a lease. And we both agreed that that was a possibility. And along with that lease is also written in there, if there happens to be some kind of major repair to that building that is more than the cost of the annual lease, then the lease will be discontinued, so that the county doesn't get stuck with having to put a whole bunch of money into a building that really doesn't warrant having a whole lot of money put into. The county will be responsible for major repairs as far as for, like, say, the outside of the building, the siding, and we all see that there's some things that need to be done there, some painting. The electrical boxes on the backside need some work. There is a HVAC unit on the east side that's not operative, and repair that would be $4,000 to $5,000. Dr. Campbell agreed that he doesn't need that fixed. He can get along fine without that, so we're not gonna worry about that. If he wanted some interior carpet put in, that would be up to him. And we also talked about some possible plumbing things that are underneath that may need to be addressed. He said that, not to worry about them, that it works fine. But if it does need some work, I think that he said he would take care of that. He's gonna provide $1 million worth of liability insurance, from his, side of it. He'll, insure all of his contents. The county will insure the building. Really, I think that is pretty much about, those are the important things.
Point number 14, it says, the tenant will examine the premises prior to the execution of its lease. Has that been done already? Is that what you guys,
That
is
was
it
kind of-
defined as what you guys did last
Yeah,
week?
you know, we'll probably do it again, but that was kind of
Okay.
our initial, when Mike Meyer and myself went over there and walked around the building. We did find some things that needed to be taken care of. We said that we would take care of the entry doors, they need just a little bit of work. Repair some of that siding, fix those electrical boxes, the rain spout that's, is off. Oh, and there, when Mike was up there shoveling off the roof this winter, he noticed a possible spot where the roof could be leaking. So he said he's already got that figured out and what he wants to do there. So right now at this point, it's just some minor stuff for us to, kind of dress up the building a little bit, make sure that it's functional.
Okay. And another question I have is, point number 7, under damages, it says the landlord shall repair the damages within 30 days, during which time the tenant shall be entitled to abatement of the rental.
I'm thinking that must be the part where, if,
Damage is caused by a
Yeah.
natural disaster.
yeah, if there's some kind of like natural disaster that damages it or whatever, and it's the cost of repairing it is more than what the annual lease is, then we cancel the lease. Or we have the option to cancel the lease, I guess.
Okay,
I'm thinking that means I don't know that for sure, I guess.
if the repairs are not done within 30 days, the tenant shall be entitled to abatement of the rental. Abatement of the rental? So leaving the entire facility, or abatement of the rent?
I don't know, I guess it's not clear.
Yeah, okay.
I wish Corey was here. Corey went home sick, by the way, everybody, he was supposed to be here. So I guess if he was here, you probably could clarify that.
Yeah,
Because I know that him and Dr. Campbell's attorney worked on this. What was that, number 7?
yeah.
Okay. I think too that see, today's the 15th, right? Dr.
Yes.
Campbell's gonna pay a half a month's rent, starting today to the end of this month.
Yeah,
I think that's in there as well. But we also agreed to keep his fee for his services as being the county health doctor separate from the lease. They're two separate things.
That's good.
Yep.
What I would request, since we just got this, can we, have the rest of the day to read it as we have time? And
Sure.
then make a vote at the end of the day? That works.
Tomorrow's your meeting in the morning?
Yeah, or tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning?
Yeah, let's
That's
do
not a
that.
bad idea.
We'll do it tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right. That works with you,
Okay, so
Mike?
we'll postpone a vote on this until tomorrow morning during the working meeting, prior to the working meeting. Okay, to recess the county commissioners meeting and open up a public hearing to adopt a resolution to set amendments for the fiscal year 2019 budget. Do you have the resolution, Debbie?
Mhm.
How long is it?
2 pages,
Huh?
2 pages,
Oh, okay,
or page and a half maybe,
yeah.
page and a half.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
The details are attached, and this copy is for you, unless I have to make revisions.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is there a copy available for public reading?
It's upstairs in the clerk and recorder's office. It's been on display for 2 weeks. Upstairs.
Debbie, was it on the website as well?
It was, the resolution was publicized, but we couldn't find where anybody had put it up on the website.
Okay, but it was in the clerk and recorder's office for 2 weeks?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need to read through this then?
I would say the highlights, I don't know that we need to go through each of these, maybe just the whereases.
Fiscal year 18-19 expenditure revenue budget amendments resolution. Whereas section 7640064 MCA states the governing body may amend the budget during the fiscal year by conducting public hearings at regular scheduled meetings. Budget amendments providing for additional appropriations must identify the fund reserves, unanticipated revenue, or previously unbudgeted revenue that will fund the appropriations. Whereas section 7640005 MCA states in part, local government officials may not make a disbursement or expenditure or incur an obligation in excess of the total appropriations for a fund. Whereas several unforeseen circumstances arose during the 2018-2019 fiscal year and expenditures revenue line items need to be revised accordingly. Now therefore it is hereby resolved that Broadwater County is making the following required expenditure and revenue budget amendments effective fiscal year June 30th, 2019.
Mike, can we ask Debbie just to go through each of these by fund?
Do you wanna go through what are we on, page 2?
I think it's page
Page
3
1.
officially.
The details, the resolution has the net of the changes,
Okay,
whether it was an increase or a decrease to expenditure and or revenues. The details are on the attached pages of each fund and account and object code. Most of the change, and you'll see some in here, like the senior meals budget amendment, where there was 0 net change. And basically what there was is a line item that they didn't budget spending for. So to cover that expenditure, another line item was decreased, so the net effect of their budget was 0. Or if they received revenue to cover an expenditure, the net effect would be an increase to revenue. So general fund had a revenue increase of $21,165.12. Road, net increase is $63,568.43. Weed, net revenue increase $48.42. Fair, net revenue increase $8,023. Airport, net revenue increase of $5,296. Mosquito net expenditure increase of $411.31. Parks and Rec net revenue increase of $25,906.21. Senior meals and extension had no net change. Public safety net expenditure increase of $142.50. Juvenile transport net expenditure increase of $19,740. Inmate welfare budget, net revenue increase of $8,765.10. Search and rescue, net revenue increase $4,333. Bars litigation had no net change. Drug forfeiture, net expenditure increase $150. Gas apportionment tax budget, no net change. The Barca gas tax, net expenditure increase $6,380. Junk vehicle, no net change. Weed grant, net expenditure increase $15,200. 911, net revenue increase of $4,998. State allocated federal mineral royalties budget, net expenditure increase $837.22. PILT, net expenditure increase $123,248.44. Homeland Security, net expenditure increase $482. Bioterrorism and immunization, no net change. Mental health LAC grant, net expenditure increase $125. Deep Creek project, net expenditure of increase of $2,114.62. CIP maintenance budget, net expenditure $3,622.17. Search and rescue, net revenue increase $18,288.40. The CIP interoperability, net expenditure increase $5,390. CIP road, net revenue increase $5,062.41. Sheriff vehicle replacement budget, net revenue increase $23,000. CIP fair, net revenue increase $1,840.40. CIP airport budget, net revenue increase $3,274.63. CIP junk vehicle, net expenditure increase $9,996.61. Solid waste, net expenditure increase $1,935.58. Silos recreation, net expenditure increase $142.78. And Broadwater Trust Board, net expenditure increase of $90,065.01. A lot of expenditures after the budget was set that had no spending authority. So it seemed like there was a lot. Once they got the expenditure authority, they should be pretty on track. So we can do a third quarter review.
Is that juvenile transport budget, and then that's housing for juvenile?
That's our juvenile transport, the housing for the whoever's at Cascade County. Some years we have someone and some years we don't, so we decided last year not to budget anything until we had someone, and we did.
We did budget 4,000.
There's revenue there, but we
Yeah.
just didn't put any expenditure because we didn't know if we were gonna spend any.
Okay.
So there's revenue there, but we didn't have spending authority.
Yes.
So a couple things. The juvenile, that one I think we're still trying to work on a little bit, because that was a juvenile felony sex crime case. And that individual, we had to go all the way down to Missouri and pick him up. And our understanding was when he got back, the state was gonna be footing the bill for him, and they haven't been. So I know we were working on that a little bit and trying to get that rectified. I don't know if that will change. Second of all, is this the only one you're gonna do for a budget amendment? Are you gonna do one more? Okay, because we got that grant, from the Mason Moore Foundation for that $5,000 for the dog cage. And so we'll have to put that in at some point. We'll put it in under the revenue side, but we'll need that budget authority later to spend that on that case.
Yeah, no, there'll be another one at the end of the year. after this one's posted and everybody's got all their claims turned in, all the revenue is supposed to be in, to make sure where we're at, make sure it's all final.
Okay, I just,
This is just kind of one that's been working on for 3 months.
wow, okay. So, but like, so we do, I'm still working on that, the juvenile thing, I still don't know where that's at. I'm hoping that he actually got sent off to state custody, is what I'm hoping.
Well, so what it was supposed to be is Department of Family Services are the ones who are supposed to be footing the
Yeah.
bill. And, yeah, he's in Idaho right now in placement, so,
Okay,
that's who should be paying, I'm assuming.
okay. I'm not sure exactly where the conversation's been led.
Okay.
But that one, when I got, I think it was like a $9,000 bill for holding him, I was not a happy camper. Because that wasn't the agreement when we went and picked him up, so, yeah, we're gonna continue to work on that, so.
Thanks, Wayne.
That's good.
It's upstairs
Okay, that's fine.
on the counter for the court recorder.
No, it's right here, because I took it off. They didn't want to make a copy for me because it was going on right now, so they said, just bring it back. I said, okay. Where I turned it, it's not that, just borrowing it.
So is there any other public comment then? So we will close the hearing and go back to our commissioners meeting and have a decision for adopt a resolution to set the amendments for fiscal year 19 budget.
Yeah, I've got a question, you go first over, right? On Fund 2821, the bar center.
Mm-hmm,
That's Dawson Dam, is that when we had the little landslide there
mm-hmm,
and had to deal with that? That
mm-hmm,
kind of unexpected expense, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And I think when the paperwork was turned in, it was set to work on Tossin Dam Road. And then more of it came. Because this is the first request, this isn't the second one.
All right, and then on 2900, I understand the ambulance power lift with the 100,000 for the JV. Does that
That
to
was
get
a,
our JV program up and going? or-
well, no, this is not a fin chunk vehicle, this is a journal voucher. And
Oh,
when we
okay.
did the budget, it was set without a decision deciding on $100,000 for the bars trial. General fund or PILT, and
Okay,
so it was decided
okay,
after
okay.
budget was settled that it was gonna come from PILT.
Gotcha.
So I had to do a journal to take it from PILT and put
Okay.
it into the bars trial,
Okay. I remember
yeah.
that. Okay.
And then the other 23 was at the ambulance lift?
And then, Granite County. And then there is an ambulance lift too, what did I put for notes?
23.
Yeah, the power lift, 23,248, yeah.
Okay.
And that came in December, January, way after the budget. And most of these, there's minutes to support where you guys made the decisions for some of these payments too, so this just sums it up and finalizes it in an official amendment process. And that's where, if there was a journal voucher done, I tried to note it. Or revenues, if the receipt, so it was easy to track and find. That was a suggestion. More auditors. More detail on the attachment.
All right, good. Question for Wynn, how far away is your new car?
I have no idea.
Really?
Gosh, when we ordered that? Was it January? I think it was January, so, it should be, well, they normally go into production in April, so once that's done, it'll probably arrive sometime, just near the end of the fiscal year, I would imagine. And since we brought up the vehicle real quick, I haven't heard from the last Deere versus Ford Explorer, what the insurance is gonna do on that, so we might have to have a discussion about that later, so.
We got money for it.
Well, I know the damages were 9,500 booked for 9,000.
So they didn't tell if they were gonna total it?
I haven't heard anything on it lately, and my undersheriff worked night shift last
I
night.
think Brandon, last I heard from Brandon says they're not going to.
Okay, so you're gonna fix it?
They're gonna fix it,
Okay,
yeah.
well, that's good then, because I didn't wanna buy another car,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No, unless there's any more questions from the commission, I'll move that we adopt the resolution for the fiscal year expenditure and revenue budget amendments as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second the motion, and I also want to add as a reminder to all of our department heads that we are still hoping to have, what is it, 10%, Debbie, of our savings at the end of the year. So keep working towards that
At
goal.
least.
Yeah. Okay,
Motion been made and second to approve the expenditure revenue budget amendments. All in favor? Opposed, same. Motion carries.
If there are no changes, Annie has the original for you guys to sign and then do her thing too, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
thank you,
Debbie.
Deb.
Second page,
Why is it on the second?
because that's not where you were looking.
Just noticed, yeah. Need one of those fancy little tabs that says sign here.
Yeah, they're supposed to have those on all those things, when we have those things. So we will close the commissioners' meeting once again and open the public hearing for petition for road maintenance for Grandview Loop and Midway Mid-Drive.
So several years ago, the Grandview Manor Loop subdivision started, and the developer put in a 10,000 gallon storage tank at the top of Midway Drive. Since then, other subdivisions have not been required to put in the storage tanks. They paid a fee to the rural fire department instead of that. And they just put in an additional 30,000 gallons of storage to meet that envelope for fire suppression on the adjoining subdivisions as a county asset. As a group, we're not an official homeowners association yet, but when we, as a group, we would like to know if the county can take over maintenance of the Grandview Manor Loop and Midway Drive to allow year-long access for the fire trucks. The last several springs and then some of the fall, you couldn't have got a fire truck up there to get to the tanks. Our lots are 1.2, 1.3 acres per lot. The homes are 200 feet apart. The storage that's there will never be used in our subdivision. The homes are too far apart to have a fire go from structure to structure to structure. So they're a county asset, which is good that we have it up there. The well produces 50 gallons a minute. So for the county tenders that are 350 gallons, I mean, it would fill them in 6 minutes, the well itself. So the storage, it is a great asset, but nothing that will be used locally in that subdivision. So if it's possible, we would like to ask the commissioners to take over maintenance of the loop and Midway Drive if possible. And I know there's a process that it's gonna take to do that. We had a petition signed by all of the homeowners, there was no opposed. We didn't have time to go to all of the lots, the non-developed lots. But there's 57 lots in there, and I think right now there's 38 that are no longer owned by the developer.
How many lots total,
There's
Justin?
57 total lots. Lot 21 is exempt from all covenants, and I'm not sure what that purpose is necessarily. But this is current as of this morning of where the houses are with the, all the color that would be purple X's. or crosses, and then I'd have sold on the lots that are no longer owned by the developer.
And all of those folks have signed the petition, is what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay,
Well, minus two, because there's 2 new houses under construction right now, so they would not have, but. And that's for maintenance. We really don't want to give up ownership. There's rumors of additional subdivisions going in behind us. And if that comes to fruition, we can't have that kind of traffic coming through the middle of our subdivision to get there. It's just, the roads aren't good enough now. We put another 50, 60 houses above us, with no direct line access. They'd have to weave their way through the subdivision, if it's even legal. I'm not speaking to the legality of using subdivision roads to get to other subdivisions, if it's possible or not, but there's too much, there's already too much traffic on them, and they're not able to hold up right now, so.
So is this a public road or a private road?
As far as I know, it's considered a private road, public access, but that, again, I'm not really familiar on the subdivision laws of what that really means, but privately maintained right now. Public access, privately maintained, I think is the correct terms.
so Justin, you're not asking us to make this a public road, you just want maintenance.
That is
On the
correct.
road for
Just
the water
maintenance,
storage.
yes. Grading and gravel would help. I'm getting the crown back on there so that even when it's wet, the fire trucks, if need, so if it's wet, are the fire trucks needed? That'd be the other question. But so that they can get in there, at any time of the year. As far as for plowing the roads, I mean, I think that's totally the homeowners association, once we get there, would keep the roads plowed as much as possible. I mean, this winter, like countywide, I mean, it was an incredible year, and it got to the point that a plow wouldn't have been enough. One of the homeowners contracted BSE to come in and with their big snow blower to open that back up. So, I mean, but that's a rare occasion. And we're really not asking for that, but just the maintenance, the grading and graveling would be enough to get the county asset accessible by rural fire department and suppression.
Okay. I have a list of questions, but I think they're for Nicole, who's at a conference today.
Yeah, okay.
So I would be interested in any further public comment, but I think for a vote, I think we really do need to get some of those questions answered
Yeah,
by Nicole.
yes. Is there any other public comment? Seeing no other public comment, we will close the
Thank you.
hearing and move on to the, reopen the commissioner meeting for decision for road maintenance for Grand Loop and Midway Drive.
And I was premature. I would like to postpone a vote
Yeah.
until we can get Nicole here. She is excused, she is at a conference, but I would like to have a couple of questions answered before
Okay.
making a
There's
decision.
a lot of questions that actually need to be answered, and
Yeah,
it actually is gonna relate to some of the other things that we've been discussing as well, other roads similar.
Okay, so we will delay this decision until we can get hold of Nicole and get some answers to some of our questions. She'll be in touch with you, I would assume. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
thank you.
Do we wanna move on to the silos now? Looks like everybody's here. So we'll move on to our 11 o'clock, the Bureau of Reclamation's Silos Recreation History, Structure, and Partnership.
And just to let you know, I did talk with both Sharon and Dan at DOR. I don't see Dan here yet. But this is more a discussion just about the history, and then we're going to have a meeting on site to talk about some of the things that need to be done. I gave Dan a long list, and so we did want to kind of concentrate on the history and relationship because it is so unique.
Okay,
And that really would be kind of a Dan thing. Since he's not here and our agenda says our items and times are subject to change, could we maybe do a different subject and give him a couple more
you
minutes
wanna
to
move on to
arrive?
the Blackfoot phone bill? Or we have to wait for somebody on that?
I think Michelle,
I'll go grab her.
Okay.
sounded like HJ 31 kind of made its way through fairly easy, didn't it?
I think there were 2 no votes in the third reading, 1 no vote in the second reading.
Wow.
It sailed through with incredible support.
Well, I did speak with, I spent a lot of time bouncing between the academy and the Capitol last week. It sounds like, I talked to Representative Bud quite a bit, it sounded like things were, people kind of had the same opinion that some needed to change, so I guess we'll see how it goes. I was a little frustrated leaving the Capitol a few times, so.
Right. 3 days win.
Okay.
So I'm just here to talk about the new Blackfoot bill that we have, and changes that I've seen kind of because of it. It looks like we are going to be paying more a month than what we were. And if we're still trying to figure out if we can get rid of an internet service through CenturyLink, but we have to make sure that we're not gonna shut something off that is needed, you know, over like 911 and stuff, so we're just making sure on that. But it looks like it's probably gonna be at least $900 more a month across the county, if not more. And some departments, because we get charged by individual lines and for fax lines and everything, where before it wasn't quite so detailed out like that. So we're getting charged for numbers that we're not using because we have them and we wanted to keep them, but they're not in use, where before we weren't getting charged for that, we are now. And that's about $300 a month for things that we're not even using. And so I just don't know what we want to do with that, and I also don't have anywhere for those expenses to go because no department is actually using them. There's some departments that are going to have quite a bit of increase in their costs per month. And, because right now, I know for like DES, it looks like up there that they want $150 a month for the internet up there. And that's just for
You're talking up at the fairgrounds.
up at the fairgrounds for the emergency command center. And that's for something that we don't even use. It's only for an emergency situation. And I know that Mike doesn't have the budget for that. He wasn't anticipating that. And then there's, I think public health is gonna have more expenses than they had in the past because they have fax and regular phone line too, and internet, so it's all individually, you know, billed out.
So you guys will have to kind of bring me up to speed a little bit. I mean, I wasn't here for that decision, and I know that there was a reason that you guys decided to switch to Blackfoot. So maybe you can fill me in just a little bit.
We met with Blackfoot 2 years ago, like in February to April. And we agreed that we needed better internet, no question about it. We told Blackfoot in June we wanted the internet but not to change the phones. They came back with a contract in September and told us you have till the end of this meeting to make a decision, and lo and behold, there were phones all over in this contract. So we needed the internet. So that's the basic history.
Okay.
As far as the phones go, the ship has sailed, you know, the contract's been signed for 5 years.
Right. I guess, did we get a cost then, I guess from them of what they anticipated or
We got a
cost
verbal
would be?
guarantee that the prices would be lower for phone.
Okay,
But in reading the contract, it was one that I think Corey worked with David Kay on that. I think he was the guy with Blackfoot, and it was Scott Lester that really pushed it.
Okay, 'cause I do have a card from Scott Lesser, and that was gonna be one of my questions, if that's one of the guys we need to talk about on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
One of the things I think we need is, one, a full report that shows what the costs are for unused lines that we've never been charged for before, what the cost is for faxes and for which departments. Commissioners, frankly, we don't need a fax if we have one. DES, what is the issue there? Public health, I would imagine sheriff's office is one of those that could be looking at a big increase because of how many phones they have. So what I would like is a full report with all the differences. It'd be nice to have what we were paying and what Blackfoot is now charging. And then I would like to have that sent also to Corey to review those costs with the contract. And then bring in Scott Lester and David Kay for a sit-down.
Yeah.
If our cost is $900 more per month, that is way beyond what we ever agreed to, especially when they slid in the phones the way that they did. That is something I don't think that,
yeah,
I think we need to address at the very least. Maybe they will say, oops, we made some mistakes, and correct those.
well, I'm sure that there's probably some stuff that we can do there, but we do need to get those guys here in front of us and
But we
tell
need
us
to
what
know
we're
what
paying.
the details are that we're looking at.
They need to tell us what we're paying for.
yeah, I would agree with that.
The other thing is, and this isn't part of your report, but Mike was telling me he was spending, during this transition, which took a good 6 months, he was spending about 10 to 15 hours per week doing the transition work for Blackfoot. I don't think we had a clue to what extent he was doing their work, but they needed to be doing their work, not having Broadwater County employees, Broadwater County citizens paying somebody to do their work. So I'd like to address that as well. And if, I would like to ask Michelle to work with Mike to get a report, roughly how many hours he spent doing their work.
Okay,
Because I didn't come in to do any kind of an analysis on what we had before jumping in.
And just to add to that, I know Mike was in my office switching phones and all that stuff late at night, weekends, and we had a lot of issues when that switch took over where our phones weren't working at all, so outside of our 911 line and our 3441 line, that's about the only thing we had. But the other phones weren't working, so he spent an atrocious amount of time rectifying all the issues that were there, and I kind of feel the same way. I don't feel it was Mike's responsibility to be coming in and fixing their stuff that, yeah, they flipped the switch and great, but it really put a huge time crunch on Mike for a while there, so I would agree with that.
we wanna give this a date, like 2 weeks or so, to have this done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, does that work for you, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a breakdown of most of it now, so it wouldn't take me long to get a report. I would take me longer to consult with Mike and figure out his hours, but the rest of it shouldn't take that long.
Sounds good then.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Who is going to contact Scott to come down here, Scott and David Kay, to come down here
I
to,
don't have Dave's number, but I do have Scott's, so I can contact him.
okay, thank you. About 2 weeks then?
Yep.
And then if you could have a report to us, say, like by
May
the end of the
6th.
week,
Yeah.
we'll have enough time to kind of
yeah.
wrap our heads around what we need
Yeah,
to
May 6th.
talk about.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to the Sidles Recreation Area. Ann, you're up.
I don't know what you guys want me to talk about. I didn't get anything
So,
Contract and stuff? or-
what I was hoping, and maybe if Sharon could come up and sit at the table too, what I was hoping that we could do is just talk about how the relationship that we have with you guys, with Sharon, with the county is unique, how it works. I don't think a lot of people understand that the county's actually your concessionaire.
The
And
county,
we contract.
county
out
is
to
a
someone
managing
else.
partner of reclamation. And so we have a contract that's with the county, which lays out all the different requirements that we have in there. This was in effect on, excuse me, it was in February of 13 and lasts for 10 years, but it can be renegotiated. So, so we have till 2023 to renegotiate our contract with you guys. And then you, as the county, have elected to have a concessionaire, which would be Sharon's position. And then you have a different contract with that. So, within ours, we have different things that talk about what we should, or what needs to be done out there. It goes through a whole list of different items on what we're looking for. We have inspections that we come out on a semi, or we'll come out for an interim one, and then we'll come out for a more formal one on safety stuff. And we also have different reporting that we need you guys to give to us. And I think some of that other stuff that then is spelled out in, a lot of it is transferred from ours to your concessionaire's contract to do. There's a few things that we need to look at, but other than that, I think that, you know, as far as we're concerned, the agreement and stuff is going fine. We have no issues with the county on, and would like to see the county go forward with it. So. Any questions for me?
Basically, Daryl is new, and that's
Okay.
why I wanted you guys to come as kind of
Sure.
a first meeting. I see this as first in a series.
Uh-huh.
Number one is, how do we work together? How did this come about?
I think we
those
had it for
basics.
quite a while. It was with reclamation, and then I believe the county came to us, or we went to the county, one of the two, and asked, "Do you guys want to take this over and be a managing partner?" Which is what we've done with a lot of different places. We do it with Helena Valley Irrigation, Toston Irrigation, even down at Dillon, at Clark County with East Bench down there as well. So we have these different management or agreements, managing partner agreements with different county entities. We have to go with a recognized one from the state or county. We can't just, or you know, we have some stuff, our federal ones would be more of an MOU, not an agreement. So, but that's how this has come about, I believe. I'm new here, I've only been here a year and a half, but I've learned a lot. So, so with silos, the county elected to take that on, and then they have a managing partner that, or they have a concessionaire, which we do have other concessionaires. We do direct concessionaire with Goose Bay, with Kim's Marina, and with Yacht Basin. Those are all what we call our concessionaires around here. So other campgrounds.